Marcus Conte reporting my Super Tuesday predictions. You ready for it? You ready for it? I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. Tonight's the big night. The big enchilada. The grand prize for the Democrats. Who's going to take it? I think we know the answer to that question. I think we know the answer to that. Do a reading first. I found this book on the street. Alice in Wonderland. You know? I love it, man. There's a lot of pictures in there. You see the rabbit. Are we going down the rabbit hole? Are we going down the rabbit hole? Beautiful pictures. Remember when we had books where you could touch them and read them and feel the paper? Let's do a reading from the Alice in Wonderland, Down the Rabbit Hole. Alice was beginning to get very tired of sitting by her sister on the bank and having nothing to do. Once or twice she had peeped into the book her sister was reading, but it had no pictures or conversations in it. And what is the use of a book, thought Alice, without pictures or conversations? So she was considering in her own mind, as well as she could, for the hot day made her feel very sleepy and stupid. Whether the pleasure of making a daisy chain would be worth the trouble of getting up and picking the daisies, when suddenly a white rabbit with pink eyes ran close to her. There was nothing so very remarkable in that, nor did Alice think it was so much out of the way to hear the rabbit say, oh dear, I shall be too late." Then she thought it over afterwards, and it occurred to her that she had wondered about this, but at this time it all seemed quite natural. When the rabbit actually took a watch out of his waist pocket and looked at it, and then hurried on, Alice started in her feet, for it flashed across her mind that she had never before seen a rabbit with either a waistcoat pocket or a watch to take it out of. And burning with curiosity, she ran across the field after it, and was just in time to see it pop down a large rabbit hole under the hedge. In another moment, down went Alice after it, never once considering how she would get out, never once considering how in the world she would get out again. The rabbit hole went straight on like a tunnel for some way, and then dipped suddenly, so suddenly that Alice had a moment did not have a moment to think about stopping herself before she found herself falling down what seemed to be a very steep well. Either the well was very deep, or she fell very slowly, for she had plenty of time, and she went down to look about her. She went down the rabbit hole. She was somewhat curious about something, right? As we often are. Hey, what's down that rabbit hole? Yeah. It's fascinating reading, right? What do you get out of it? Everything's a rabbit hole. Everything that grabs our attention is a rabbit hole of some sort. Right? The master puppets know the rabbit hole. The master puppets lure us into the rabbit hole and hold us down there. Are elections rabbit holes? I don't know. They might be. So let's look at the master puppet. The puppet master, Donald Trump, has spoken. Before I give my predictions, I'm going to give them. I got them. I'm going to tell you exactly what's going to happen and how it's going to happen. But first, let's look at the competition. Because this is a competition. This is a political race. And there will be one winner and a lot of losers. My prediction is that Trump will be the loser. But who will beat him and how? So Trump tweeted out this after Pete Buttigieg dropped out. Trump is very much in the conversation. He's jumping out in front of the crowd in South Carolina, in Nevada, in Iowa, in New Hampshire. Trump just keeps appearing. Right? He's trying to change the conversation. So he said about Pete Buttigieg. Trump said via tweet, Pete Buttigieg is out. All of his Super Tuesday votes, all of his Super Tuesday votes will go to Joe Biden. Great timing. This is the real beginning of the Dems taking Bernie out of play. No nomination again. What is the puppet master Trump doing? What is he trying to tell us? He's riling up the troops. He's riling up the sleepy masses to tell you that Bernie got fucked in 2016. He's reminding you. So you stay put. Don't go down the rabbit hole. It's a rabbit hole. Bernie's a socialist. He's a communist. I'm gonna give you everything you ever asked for. I'm gonna provide you with everything. I'm fucking Trump. Don't you understand? God damn it. Stay where you are. Stay in the rabbit hole. Stay in the rabbit hole that I created for you, god damn it. That's what Trump is saying, right? We're going to build the wall. Remember when he said that? We're going to build the wall. Bernie Sanders, Trump says he's going to build a wall. So far, over $10 billion spent. 194 miles of wall was supposed to be built. How much wall was built? 130 miles. So did he deliver on his promise to build a wall? No, because that's all Trump is, right? It's build a wall, it's lock her up, it's drain the swamp. It's all fucking bullshit, right? So, did he drain the swamp? There's coronavirus, one case of coronavirus in New York. Watch out. Did he drain the swamp? No. He gave you Mike Pompeo. Mike Pompeo, the CIA hack who lies. He lies. He's a professional liar. Running the State Department. He gave you Steve Mnuchin, the Goldman Sachs guy. Right? It's right out of it's right out of the banker playbook. Obama had a Goldman Sachs Secretary of the Treasury. Bush had one. And now Trump has one. Geithner, Henry Paulson, and now Steve Mnuchin. That's it. That's the swamp. That's not the swamp. The swamp is James Comey and McCabe and the spooks inside the CIA and FBI. No, that is the swamp. The swamp is the people that are calling the shots on behalf of the big money, the oligarchy. He's going to lock her up. Did he lock her up? Did he lock up Hillary Clinton? That was his big campaign speech. Oh, he's going to lock her up. I love WikiLeaks. He locked up WikiLeaks, and Hillary Clinton's out on the campaign trail running for president, buying another house in Chappaqua, New York, spending her millions of dollars in book money. Did he lock her up? Did he deliver on any of those pompous things, right? No, not at all. The economy's never been so good. Has it? 60% of the country living in abject poverty. Right? He's escalating the wars in the Middle East. He vetoed the bill to end the war in Yemen. Syria escalating. Iran escalating. Afghanistan still going. So where is his wonderful policy? Where is his wonderful policies taking effect? How has the Trump rabbit hole benefited you? He raised the he some kind of flies going on here. What's up, guys? Get out of here. Eating bugs. Yeah, right. He's the corporations got their $1 trillion in tax breaks. People got fucked, but they're still happy, right? They're just happy it ain't Obama, because Obama is, he's for the other people. He's not for us. Huh? Trump played that card. He played that card like a true puppet master. He played that card like a true puppet master. There's little flies popping out. I don't know what it is. They must think it's spring already. It's still 30 degrees, guys. Go home. Go back into the cove. So Trump's a total failure, right? In my view, right? You have Bernie Sanders standing next to him telling the country that 60% of you are living in abject poverty. Wake up. Look up for a second and realize what's going on. That the 1% has accumulated all of the new wealth over the last couple of years. 1 in 6 people on food stamps, 3 million people in prison industrial complex still roaring away, right? So when Trump is standing on that stage next to one Bernie Sanders, who, I'll give it away, that's my prediction, who's going to be the nominee through a plurality of the vote, maybe a majority. When Bernie is standing on stage next to the Trumpster, I just think that, what has Trump got? Oh, you're a socialist. He's a commie. He's a commie socialist, right? That's all he's going to say, right? He's going to try to give Bernie another heart attack while he's standing on the stage. And it ain't going to work because Sanders gets off on that shit. Sanders' whole life has been geared to this one fascinating moment. Right? The whole thing, the whole enchilada is on the line. So here's the predictions. Took you 11 minutes. It's 11 minutes of your life you can't get back because I told you why Trump is such a failure in those 11 minutes. Very valuable. You should, if you're still thinking about Trump, or you're a pundit, maybe an H.A. Goodman pundit or a Sticks Hexenhammer Satan pundit, maybe you should rewind the tape and listen to it one more time. Listen to it one more time. It's actually quite beautiful out in New York. It's not 30 degrees. It's maybe like 45. It's really nice. I don't have any gloves on. In Las Vegas, it was so beautiful, man. I got used to that shit quick. So tonight. Oh, man. Tomorrow night, sorry. Tomorrow night, I'm going to be at I might be out in the public watching the results come in. There's no sense in sitting there watching 14 states come in, some of which ate another bug. Bug flew right in my mouth. So there's no sense in waiting around for the results. We might not see California until Wednesday morning, right? Because there's going to be cheating. Oh no, we know. But here's the deal. I think Bernie Sanders is probably going to landslide it. There's about 1,400 delegates on the line. So far, only 100 delegates have been allocated. Iowa, New Hampshire, Nevada, and South Carolina. That's just 100, a little more, give or take. Right now, Bernie Sanders has a slight lead in the delegates. It doesn't matter. It's only 3% of the vote in. The big shit is coming now, right? 30% of the vote, 33% of the vote is going to come in tomorrow night. And you've got Alabama 52, Arkansas 31, California with 415, Colorado 67, Maine 24, Oklahoma 37, Tennessee 64, Texas 28, 228, Utah 29, and Vermont's got 16. All right, so those are the states. Here's what I think is going to happen, right? I think Bernie Sanders is going to win probably more than 10 out of the 14. He's going to landslide 10 out of the 14. He's going to win all the big states. He's going to win California. He's going to win Texas. He's going to win Colorado, Maine, Vermont, Utah, right? Oklahoma, Tennessee. I don't know. I think Tennessee is a pretty progressive place. I went there. And at least in Nashville it was. I didn't experiment out into the brush much, but I would just think that because there's been no polling in any of these places, and Joe Biden has absolutely no ground game, I don't see how anybody beats Sanders in those places. Sanders has the money. He has the ground game. Again, Joe Biden has not stepped a foot in a single Super Tuesday state. I think that's unprecedented. I mean, at least Hillary Clinton went there, spent some money, hugged a couple of babies and shook some hands. Biden hasn't done any of that stuff, so how does he win? Remember, Buttigieg is out. Pete Buttigieg fell out yesterday. Tom Steyer is out. Amy Klobuchar and Elizabeth Warren are insignificant at this point. If we look at the polling, if we look at the gut feeling, neither one of them have gotten a single. Well, Klobuchar got a few delegates, but neither one of them has won anything, or even come close to winning a single state. Right? And they're polling below, 5 and 10% in single digits, and the election is tomorrow. So you would pretty much rule them out, except for Massachusetts, where Elizabeth Warren could have a strong showing. If Sanders beats Elizabeth Warren, we'll talk about the dropouts in a second. The more to come. If Sanders beats Elizabeth Warren in our backyard, in our home state of Massachusetts, Elizabeth Warren must drop out. I mean, it's just, will she hang on and be that nasty, the scorn of a woman, just following Bernie around because Bernie's better? I don't like you anymore, Bernie. You're not my friend. Let's have a beer. Does she hang on after that? After Bernie Sanders rocks her clock in Massachusetts, does she hang on? 91 delegates up for grabs. And the other one is Minnesota. I think that's the only two reasons why Klobuchar and Warren are hanging in there. Pete Buttigieg didn't stand to win anything tomorrow, so they pulled him out. They came in and they got him out. Oh, that's Pete Buttigieg. They made him a deal. Yeah. We'll support you in 2024. 2024, nobody's going to remember that guy's name because he's a shit sandwich. He's gone. Best he can hope for is run for Congress, run for Senate, stick around a while, make another shot at it. But he's gone. Pete Buttigieg, that's the last time you'll hear his name. Yeah, and so Klobuchar in Minnesota, she's the senator from Minnesota. She could run up the votes for herself in Minnesota, and Elizabeth Warren could run up the votes in Massachusetts for herself. So those are the only two challenges. I think that I'm going to say North Carolina and Virginia break heavily for Bernie Sanders. So I'm going to give Bernie Sanders 12 out of 15 right off the top. We don't have polling in Alabama, Arkansas. I haven't seen anything in Oklahoma. I think I saw one in Tennessee. So there's very little polling. It's got to go by gut. And if we're going to expect cheating, that's probably what it'll be, because they'll say, Joe Biden won the blacks in South Carolina. That means he, by default, gets the blacks in Arkansas, too. You got to watch for that cheating. You got to watch for that vote flipping. All right? So notice I haven't said anything about Bloomberg. Bloomberg is totally, in my view, out of the picture. Bloomberg is not going to win a single delegate. He's going to spend $1 billion. And again, his job was not to win. You can't win. It doesn't work. You can't just spend a lot of money. He did it in New York City for mayor. He spent a lot of money on ads and T-shirts and signs. And everywhere you looked in New York City at the time, you saw Bloomberg to beat out the Democrat, whoever it was. I forgot who it was. And he won that election, but that's a city. That's a city. He's a business guy. It's different. Nobody cares if you're Republican or Democrat. It doesn't matter. But the presidency, he tried that same strategy, and he failed miserably. Mini Mike fell on his face. So he's not going to get any delegates whatsoever. He's going to stay in all the way because he can. And he's going to just keep telling everybody why Bernie shouldn't be the president. That's his function. Joe Biden, at this point, it's a two-man race. Elizabeth Warren is not going to be resurrected. Amy Klobuchar is not going to be resurrected. They're out. Buttigieg, out. Steyer, out. So it's essentially a two-man race between Bernie Sanders with all of the heart and spirit and love and huge crowds and millions of kids running around knocking on doors and dialing telephones, telling people to vote for Bernie. And Joe Biden's got nothing. Joe Biden is looking to bend over and take it up the ass from a bunch of rich billionaires. Saying, okay, look, I won. Now he turns around and he says, okay, fuck my ass. Sorry to be cruel, but that's crude. But that's all Joe Biden has now. He's just waiting for some billionaire to drop a lot of money in his pocket so that he can continue to do nothing. Continue to wait, stand up there with his fake fucking, whatever he's doing and try to convince people that he's better than Bernie. And in that fight, Bernie wins, right? Bernie fucking Sanders wins that argument, right? We didn't talk about Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi, drop out. It's over. It's over. Drop out. Back Bernie. Get a job with Fox News. You love it. They love you. Cut it out already. You're hurting this. Elizabeth Warren is hurting the momentum forward. She's sinking her own political career, and she's hurting. Hold on a second. Those people that voted for Elizabeth Warren could easily have fallen. Most of them did fall into Bernie's column, as you could see. But still, that 6 or 8% could mean the difference between a plurality and a majority. So my guesstimation is that if Elizabeth Warren gets embarrassed in Massachusetts tomorrow, which she's likely to do, she will probably maybe hang on a little longer and drop. I think Amy Klobuchar will be the next to go. She might win Minnesota. If she's disgraced in Minnesota, she's out too. She'll almost immediately drop. Right? So here's the deal. Right? Will Bernie Sanders get a plurality of the vote? Meaning, will he win the election of the people? That's what a plurality means. It means he got the most votes from the people. The answer to that question is at this point 100% yes. Bernie Sanders is the presumptive nominee of the Democratic Party at this point. Right? Inescapably. Right? Now, can he get with the delegates the way they're set up, 379 pledged delegates, and half of that is 1991, a very good year. 1991 delegates to clinch the nomination, to get half. Can Bernie Sanders get half? That it still has a question mark depending on what tomorrow looks like. If Sanders blows him out, even in the South, if he blows out Biden in the South, and Klobuchar gets nothing, and Warren, they get shut out, 15%, nothing. They get no delegates, and they lose their home states. Bernie Sanders then stands the chance to move forward to get the majority of the delegates. And that's where the massive cheating is going to come in. You think the smear campaigns are bad now? Watch what happens, right? The Stop Bernie movement is going to get intense. Right? It's going to get very intense. And as I've said all along, if Bernie Sanders is the nominee, if Bernie Sanders is the Democratic nominee, there's a 100% chance Bernie Sanders is the next president of the United States. I said it earlier, there's no way with Trump's 46%, 42% approval rating or whatever it is, or maybe 51, who cares? Bernie Sanders has a 70% approval rating in this country. Most people like him. Most people like his policies. So those are my predictions. I'd say that Sanders is likely to win. If he sweeps all 14, I mean, it's over. I think there is some chance that some cheating, because we saw some cheating in South Carolina. Why were the results so lopsided like that? It didn't really make sense. Are all blacks monolithic? No, they're not. So if there is cheating in the Deep South, and Bernie Sanders clearly he's going to win Texas, he's going to win California. California is epic. It's 412. He's got to really, really stop Biden. He's got to blow him out. Maybe the margin could be big. It could be more than 20% win by Sanders, which is good. All right. The others will drop out, and then we'll move on to May 10, March 10, March 17. There's other contests every Tuesday from then on in. But it's looking good for Mr. Sanders. It's looking good, man. Are we down that rabbit hole? Is it really a rabbit hole, or is it real? Is this really happening? I don't know. It depends on who you ask. I think it's really happening. I think that Sanders... Will the Democrats, are they willing to go to a contested convention? Talk about that for 1 second. I'll let you go. Contested convention, if Bernie Sanders gets 49% of the vote and they go to a second vote in the Democratic, in the DNC at the convention, that is a death blow to the Democrats. They lose. Do they care about their reputation? No, they don't. They proved that in 2016. They don't give a flying fuck what the people think. They're going to cheat, and they're going to spend $3 billion in the media to cover up the cheat. To convince you that Bernie Sanders can't win because he's a socialist, so we're saving the party. We're saving you from a loss to Trump. The orange monster will beat Sanders. The orange monster can't beat Sanders, and they know it. The orange monster himself knows that he can't beat Sanders, and that's why he's out in front of the cameras trying to blunt the effect, the Bernie effect. So anyway, that's my prediction. I'll be probably in a public place tomorrow watching it amongst others, probably a Bernie Sanders watch party or something like that. So anyway, Marcus Conte reporting.